Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay. Um, you would think I would have this process down by now, but I just realized I had my mic muted the entire time. No wonder it wasn't. And see, there's even a little light that's supposed to tell me when it's on that I like, wait a minute. Okay. Tell you what. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna wait 14 seconds, then I'm gonna kill this. I want to go back out, and I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do the slow lap again. It'll be slightly condensed, and then when I upload this to YouTube, I'm gonna trim the heck out of the beginning of this thing. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's quit the race. Oh, geez, I'm so stupid. All right, let's go to test. Let's go test drive. Okay, now with sound, with actual sound here. So what I'm doing here is you'll be in fourth gear, getting to start finish. And it is a quick break. I'm quickly braking. It's just a quick break and a downshift to third to get the speed scrubbed, so that when you release the brake and you come off the brake and you turn in, the car's not going to want to push out immediately into the wall. And then at this point, again, I'm only gonna put in the amount of steering I need, and I'm gonna use the throttle to kind of balance the car and tell me when the front starts to give up. I'd rather do that than to try and keep steady gas and use the wheel to, to balance the car. Because again, once you go past the slip angle of the tire, you're gone. The front's gone. And then it doesn't matter how much more you put in. You're gonna have to brake. You're gonna have to come off the throttle. So I would rather you guys brake, release the brakes as you turn in, only put in the steering you need, and then just get in the habit of just trying to balance the car with the throttle and not do a lot here unless you absolutely have to. So it'll take some practice, but I think where I'm finding is when I'm trying to roll back into the throttle, it's usually about here where I might have given it too much and I might feel the car start to push. Just back off it a little bit. You don't need to change the steering all that much. The car will come back to you. Coming onto the front out of that first turn. And I might go all the way out to the wall. I might go most of the way out. But as soon as I'm out, I'm going to start bringing the car back across. The braking for me for this next corner is I'm really relying on the braking line here because I haven't been able, as I was pointing without sound earlier, I haven't been able to really find any definitive static references that I can use. It's kind of like this building, this kind of structure here to the upper right. When that's about to go out of view, it might be a good thing to spot, but it's just not for me. It's not distinct enough. So, but it'll be about here. Probably still third. I think third gear. But usually it's a quick break, and I'm downshifting. I think. I can't remember my slow laps as I turn in. Um, Again, I'm going to hug the inside. I might take advantage of the track limits here a little bit, but I'm going to be aiming this next approach, the exit of this corner and the approach to the corner here that starts to head up the hill. I'm using the digital signboards as reference. So you can see the first one here that's kind of like if you follow the inside line that goes straight across, you'll see it's blue right now. It'll probably change to red here in a second. It's just before the 250 board, but for me, that digital board is easier to spot than anything else. It's the first thing I'll see. So that's my reference point on exit. I'm going to let the car come all the way out to the right side, and then as I get to there, I'm looking at the next digital board on the left to start bringing the car back across. Because what I want to be able is I want the car on the left side as I get to these Microsoft signs. So third or fourth gear, I forget where I'm at this point. You might be in fourth, but again, big brake zone here. Brake, 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 brake. Keep the car on the left side. Probably just as I'm getting to the end of the painted surface here, my eyes are looking, trying to find that inside curbing, and I'm down to second gear. And as I get there, I'm going to release the brakes and turn in, just barely clipping the cripping to curbing. Supplies! Clipping the curbing here on the inside. You can, if you really want to get on there on the curbing a bit more, you can I'd say probably for consistency's sake, if you can be neat and tidy through here, um, that's probably gonna make your life easier, or at least reduce the risk of time penalties. On exit, go ahead and just abuse this. Use all of this as you can. Second gear, third gear, fourth gear, up the hill. And you got my braking wrong. See, so coming into the tunnel, this is definitely, because I'm going to harp on this again. This is let your car do the work tunnel. For me, what I've been doing is just as I'm getting to the first grading that you're going to hit, which also is right where those first set of lights are on the ceiling, that's what I'm using for my braking reference. So you'll be in fourth gear. I'm going to do a quick, on the brakes. I pay attention to how much braking I'm doing. This is one of those that I'm not really looking to see how far down I'm pushing the brake pedal, but it's not a huge heavy braking. It's just kind of a trail brake, just to scrub enough speed down, usually dropping it down to third, and just trying to get that done by the time I get to the next set of lights, to where I can come off the brake and turn the car in. And if I've done it right, the car should just turn very nicely in, right on the edge, and I can start balancing the car again with the throttle. Again, I'm not doing a lot of managing where the car's pointed with the wheel. Once I get it into the corner, I'm going to do that with the throttle. If it starts to push out a little bit, really not going to change my steering angle. I'm just going to ease off the throttle and let the front tires regrip and bring the car back in line. What you will notice as you're trying to roll back into the throttle, especially late, you're really going to want to try to start rolling back to the throttle just as you get to the edge of the tunnel. But keep in mind, you're kind of cresting to the top of a hill. The front's going to want to push even more. So just be mindful of that as you exit the tunnel. You'll have the car all the way out here to the left side. For me, this next corner, this is where the madness begins, with where I was commenting on the bumps. It's like, oh God, the bumps. It's easiest for me to see the tree coming out of the tunnel. So I want to brake just before I get to that tree. You might use the blue coloring on the side there. Maybe that's easier for you to spot. But it is in third gear. It is a quick brake here, and I would even know it's such a quick brake just to get the car slowed down, get some weight in the front. You're going to release the brake and turn in. I think third is best for it, but this is one of those that second gear might be more beneficial to drop it to second. Gives you, puts the car up high in the rev range, but again, it gets a little more weight to the front. You get a little braking benefit from the gearing, and it makes the car a little bit more pointy on turn in. But you really want to make sure that you get onto the inside of this curb. This is very easy to get your braking wrong and to push wide and hit the tire barriers. At worst, hopefully you hit past it where you just kind of sideswipe the wall. But this one, I will not be surprised. Hell, I might even hit him myself. Where you get it wrong and you hit the tires on the exit. If you do this in second gear, you're gonna just immediately, as soon as you're off the inside, get back to third, because you're gonna be so high in the rev range. It is gonna be a quick shift back. That's why I think third might be better, just because it'll give you the rev range to play with. Heading down, this is where the bump begins, the bumpiness begins. And for me, this is my first time really with this car. Well, first race here with the wheel. So I did not expect just how unweighted the car, or the steering wheel gets getting over the bump. So try and be very as quiet as you can with your steering, and go straight as you can, so that you're not hitting a bump and you're putting so much into the wheel that when it drops back down, it kind of starts lurching the car back and forth. You may even need to just back off, depending on the bumps. You may need to just back off the throttle a little bit. Just, take, what I call taking the torque out of the wheel, so that, you can kind of keep the car balanced as you're driving down through here. Back a little bit further, and let me drive up here a little bit. You can see on the bridge, you can see the sign on the bridge with the couple, like, don't do something there. I'm not sure what. Let's get a little closer. What is that? Oh, yeah, that's their kind of like, hey, at this time of the day, this is when. Oops. Let me see if my Portuguese is good. Yeah, it's kind of one of those carpool or those traffic things. Like depending on the day, like 7 to 10 a.m. Yeah, or 7 to 10 hours, just designating what lanes you can and can't use. So from a distance, if you can see kind of that orange uh, thing across the top, back when you're coming out of the tunnel and you're starting to come down the straightaway, that sign you're going to be able to spot pretty quickly. And the quicker you can kind of spot it and center up on it, kind of use that to help guide you kind of down the middle. That might be a good reference point, or it might not be. So to each their own. But again, you're going to be up into third, you're going to be up into fourth. Again, balancing the car over the bumps. Try and take this as straight as possible going down the hill. If you hit it in an angle, you might careen into the wall, you might careen back. This is an adventure. But as you get down the hill and you get set and you're settled down the hill, fourth gear, I'm going to start bringing the car across to the right-hand side, looking for that 150 board just past where the signage there, the black signage is. Heavy brake as I get to the 150, down to third, and I'm going to line it up with the 100. As I pass the 100 and pass the wall, I'm going to cross over here a little bit. I'm going to use as much of this track as I can. My eyes, first thing I'm trying to spot as I'm getting out here is the inside curbing of the next corner. Once I've got that spotted, the next thing I want to look for as I get close and I start to release the brake and start to turn in is, you can just now see it coming into view now. There's the big light pole there on the right side of the track, just past the red tire barriers. I prefer to try and find that and line that up with the inside curving versus looking for the red tire barriers. Because again, it's like the car's going to go where you're looking. So I want to look at the pole, because if I look at the pole and I can get the car straight through there, I'm not going to hit the tire barriers, those tires on the exit. I would say, again, this is the balancing act. We're all going to try and carry as much speed as we can through this corner, but just keep in mind, the front of this car, once it starts to slide, it's very tough to get it recovering. So discretion might be the better part of valor, and you might just want to maybe go in a little bit slower so you've got good control of the car, and then hammer the gas once you know you're straight and not going to hit anything on the way out. On the way out, heading into the final couple of chicanes, final turns, I'm going to bring the car out here to the right side. A couple things I'm looking for. The stoplight that kind of hangs out over the track with the white sign, that's what I'm going to look to pass under as I'm setting up for the chicane. Braking for the chicane is a lot earlier than most of the other cars we've raced here. I'm actually really braking at the crosswalk to get it down from third gear. I'm in third gear, braking at this point, passing under the stoplight there and lining up. Gearing for here, I've done this 3 different ways. I'm not sure which one I'll prefer once we get into the race, and it may be a situational thing. I think you can do the chicane in third gear. And I think optimally, if you can get your braking done and have the car under control, I think third gear is fine. I've done it where I've gone into the first part of the chicane in third and downshifted to second for the exit to help get that car turned to the second part of it and get the punch out. I've also tried dropping it to second, going in and being in second. I don't know if one is better than the other. Ultimately, it's really going to be up to you guys what you're most comfortable with. But the line I'm trying to do through here is to have the car out here to the right and bring it back across. I want to try and clip this curving here on the inside. It's the second part that's the critical one. I haven't gotten consistent yet. But what I would love to be able to do is, in trying to roll back to power, is clip the curving here and have the car really pointed straight at the point of the next curving. Because if I've done it right, I want to be able to actually, as I exit this curving, get it back on full throttle here. I want to be on full throttle here. I want to try and be as centered as possible. 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to be a little more to the left and then having to bring the car back across and hopefully not get a time penalty on the next curbing. But if you can get back on the throttle here, you'll have a really good run down through this next stretch. I think the last time we ran this direction, this was one of the areas where where again, is I'll talk about passing strategy with this car. I'd much prefer to take advantage of people being slow out of a corner to get alongside, to get it, to hopefully be able to set a pass up than to try to lunge in under braking. This is one of the areas where if I can get a good run out of here, I usually can get a really good run down to the next corner and hopefully be alongside. But again, second gear, third gear, if you get a really good run, you're going to be banging the rev limiter just before you get to the braking zone in third, if you're in third. So usually I'm popping it to fourth, even though I'm only in fourth for maybe like a second. For me, it's a comfort thing. I'd rather be in fourth and not bang the limiter at all. Braking, I totally forget where I brake for this corner. It's somewhere. When I get into the mock race, we'll just correlate it and say, hey, it's about where this is. So fourth gear or third, regardless, you're going to bring it down to second. And bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. And if you do it right, my intent is to try and clip this curve a little bit on the inside, but I want to try and keep it as much as I can to the left side of the track, or at least the left half of the track. Just trying to open up the hairpin a little bit. And then in second gear, I'm going to just clip that apex a little bit. I'm going to clip the inside of this one. And then I'm going to aim for the stoplight on the left side on the exit, which would be right up against the wall on the way out. Up to third gear. Line it up in third gear, still on the left side. And then the turn in is, for me, the turn in is right about where I'm kind of committing to the turn in for this final sweeper, is right about when I'm shifting to fourth. So a lot of times I'll probably shift to fourth as I'm turning in, and then I'm immediately just going to back out of the throttle a little bit, let the car settle in, and then start to roll back into it. I think when you start, this is this weird thing. It's like when you start looking at the way the braking line is going to be, is it's almost opposite. It's like I think I tend to be on the gas a little bit more while it's red, and then I let off just a smidge where in the part where it turns yellow, then roll back in. But this is another one kind of like the turn going up the hill. I'm going to put it in fourth. I'll probably back out of the throttle a little bit to get the car turned in. When I feel it's settled, again, I'm not going to do a lot of additional turn with the wheel going through here. I'm going to balance with the throttle. I'm going to start to roll back into the throttle. If I feel the front start to push, I just back out of it a little bit, and then the car will regrip and it'll get back in line. So again, it's kind of my driving philosophy. I'd rather balance the car with the throttle through a lot of the turns than put in so much more steering, and risk, overturning the overdoing the slip angle of the tire to where then the whole tire just cuts loose, and then I've got no control. So anyhow, so that's the second time through the slow lap, this time with commentary. What'll be interesting is I wonder if this was off. The camera has its own mic, but I don't know if it's on or not during this. So maybe we'll learn something through that. But that's slow lap of Rio again. So let's go ahead and finish the test drive again and get into the race. I'm just going to jump in. It's 23 laps, same bucket, same delays, same AI. And while I'm sitting here waiting on the grip, let's talk about gas mileage and laps. This car, it's like Bugatti last week. You should be able to get comfortably. You should be able to get 7 laps on a tank with this car. You might even be able to get 8 with fuel savings, with a smidge of fuel saving. At least I got to about 8. I think when I was getting into the final hairpin is when it coughed on me. So, but I'm going to run 23 laps based off of my quickest lap time when I ran a couple intro tests. But honestly, it'll probably be a lap or 2 less, and I think this is going to be another mandatory 3-stopper. Otherwise, we're all pitting on the same laps again. So, kind of sucks that this car has such a small gas tank. But and again, at least based off of last week, I kind of like the 3-stopper. Just having that extra stop to play with. As far as judging it, hey, I can take it in traffic and know that I can still make it. I think it added a little more strategy to the race than if we were all pitting on lap 7. So with that, let's go ahead and run a race and try not to die. Oh God, the bumps. tunnel the first time. Whoop. Yeah, pushed a little bit. The first time up through here, I was like, oh my god. Ah! Alright, let's just get it out of the way. Did I mention there's bumps? I gotta brake a little bit more there. Oh yeah, pit exit is going to be treacherous. We've raced here enough, we know that. So I think for this first stint, I'm going to run out of fuel. So I think I'm going to go 8 laps in this first one, and then I'll split the rest of the race for the next 2. Again, you see I just slowly roll back into the throttle out of there. Just did it again. I like second gear for that second part, just to give me that extra bit of turning. Oh yeah, second gear, hello. Yeah, I'm releasing the brake and turning in just as I get to that big tree on the, Oh! Hello! That's new. Okay, so... I'm not sure if I've ever had that happen before. Yeah, so be careful using that digital sign as a reference point. Give yourself a little room on exit. Okay, I think I want to try that in third gear next lap. So I'm just off the throttle a little bit through there. And maybe a little shallower entry there is what it helps. Yeah, so you can hear the tire school a little bit more there in third than I had in second. Okay, so that wall bites. Oh yeah, it does stick out a little bit there. Uh, better. Oh, that's not. I'm going to try this in fourth gear this time. Yeah, you could do this in fourth gear as well. Third, if you just want a little bit more. This is definitely third. All right. Oh, got it too close. All right. How are we doing on fuel? Just a little under 30%. Almost didn't get that right. I'll probably. Because I'm checking up here, I actually might be able to get 8 laps if I have to check up for the AI. So it's that final crosswalk. That's where I'm braking for this turn. Leave a little room on the inside just in case. Excuse me. All right. Let's see where it sputters. I didn't break enough there. Yep, there it goes. So yeah, 7 comfortably. And usually, if it completely conks out, I immediately put it into 6th, just so that, you know, the gearing isn't hurting the car's momentum. So, pro tip, you know, if you run out of gas on track, put it in 6th, free the car up, or, you know, if you're running manual with clutch and you can put the clutch in, that'll also help. So yeah, 7 laps comfortably. So let's see, we just finished last 8 out of 23. We'll pit in 7 laps and then just immediately pit again. And as soon as you come out of the pits, just keep it to the right. Hopefully then any oncoming traffic will, you know, take that first turn maybe a little bit wider just so they don't run into you. Go back to 2nd gear here. That might be the more consistent way to go. A little wide. Again, I'm not going to fight the car. I'll just keep it balanced. Let it do the work. Go back into the throttle when I can. A little bit too much. Whoa! I'm very gentle with the throttle and just, I guess, gave it a little too much. Whoop! Sorry, new wheel. Mm. Playing with fire there. I think I might like second gear out of there. The reason I don't like hugging the inside there is just mainly because I don't know who's going into the pits. Oh, that was way late on the break. Well, that's not the right way to do that. I just coast in the back of him and totally unsettled the car. Oh, Rio's going to be so much fun on Thursday. Be able to get on the throttle a little earlier there. Notice the nose bottoms out there a little bit. Ah, that's late. When you're getting into the break in the bottom of the hill. Trying not to outbrake myself this time. What? That's what I... That's what I get for trying to keep the throttle pinned when the car gets airborne. So it's probably a good idea. This is why we practice. But I would say, you know, especially coming down that hill, you run enough laps, you know where the car gets airborne. It's probably just best to just ease off the throttle, and once the car's planted, get right back on it. I'll run this one to 8 again because it'll sputter and it will be do. I'm sure the accidents and then jamming the throttle to recover didn't help my gas mileage all that much. All right, try not to die this time. This one here, just... a little more fuel this time. Oh, I might be able to make it, so... Excuse me. I'm upshifting there, and I shouldn't. I should just leave it in third. Okay. Stop number 2 done. And I'm just going to go out. Let's see. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just going to go and just do an out and come right back in, get my final stop out of the way. Almost went into the tires again. Well, it looks like the DPI and the Radical are having a little argument up there. Oh, yeah, I said I was going to go back in. All right, I'll do this lap. Box, box, box. Yeah, pushed a little bit wide there at the top of the hill. Had to back out a little bit. Okay, pit, pit, pit. So count, box, box, box. Okay, and let's see how many seconds we're in the pit here. What, 20? Let's just round it up and say 26 seconds by the time from the time the game catches you, the time it releases you. The question is, I haven't been paying attention lap times because I've been trying not to die. But let's see if we can see how quick we can get one. Get a quick clean one in before the end of the race. Okay, so I'll in, fast out. I was about to say I turned in a little too early, and it was going to spit me right under that gap of that wall. As I decided to just bash into the back of the Mercedes. I was thinking to try and do the sweep out and pass him, and then it's like, oh, am I going to hit the Radical? So. That is a pass. Hopefully no one will try to make. I will say that trying to pass somebody in the braking zone at the bottom of that hill is very high risk for very little reward. One 31-1. Staying clear of that wall. Just a little bit there. Nice clear track here. A little bit late on the brakes there. Pushing a little bit. I might not be able to get a quick one. Catching traffic. And there you go. Well, okay, who cares? I'm carrying a little too much speed and turning a little too late. That second part of the chicane. Ugh. Well, that's Rio National. Yeah, so 3756. Yeah, we're not. I would be very surprised if. Now that's also partly me beefing it a couple times. Probably didn't help that. But yeah, it's probably going to be a few. I wouldn't be surprised if it's back down to like it's kind of like what we had at Bugatti, where it's like 21 laps and but still three pit stops. Which way? Let's see, three, two, 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 two. Yeah, yeah, two pit stops. You could do it in two stops, but yeah, that would be my guess. And that's going to be the fun part of trying to guesstimate this out. So, oh, and let's see, in my practice laps, how well did I do there? Oh, I actually I went a little bit quicker than I did last night. So there's time out there. So 136. There's probably a couple other tenths, but this is a very high risk track to try and get maximum lap time every lap. I would say comfortable and consistent is probably what's going to serve you best here. So with that, I'm gonna take a break for a while. I'm gonna go have some dinner. I think my wife's got some pot of chili going. So hope you guys are having a great beginning to your President's Day weekend, and I'll probably be back on later tonight to do Suzuka full alt, which that one that again I think part of the broadcast where you didn't hear anything I was saying. I had mentioned that I think these two tracks are probably going to be the most difficult ones we have to date. I haven't looked at the last what we have for the to conclude the season, but these two are really difficult. This one just because of the bumps and how dangerous it is, and how close the walls are. And Suzuka is just it's difficult in I don't know that this car really is suited for that track. And the adding the two chicanes also doesn't help. But that's my opinion. Again, have a good evening, guys. I'll probably see you in a little bit, or you'll see me in a little bit. And happy racing. And we'll go ahead and hit the Xbox button, and we'll go to live streaming. And